Ladies and gentlemen, we have had some technical difficulties. We were going to play the Miami-Dallas game tonight, but through an accident of my own accord, this game has already been played, and Miami won 34 to 17 over Dallas, which was a bit of a surprise. And we will show you the box score of the game here in just a moment. We have a game standing by to go to because of this emergency. As you can see here, Miami jumped out to a 10-0 lead. Zonka ran it in from 6. Dallas tied the game 10-10 by early in the second quarter. Zonka straight ahead for 4 yards, and Carpenter kicked the field goal to make it 20-10. Romo to Walker cut it back to 20-17, and then Miami pulled away. Marino with the touchdown pass to Nat Moore to ice it, and it's 34-17. Well, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. So we have a game standing by. What we were going to get to tomorrow, we'll get to it tonight. It's going to be St. Louis, the Maroons, a combination of Rams and Cardinals players, taking on the Washington Redskins. And by the miracle of computer technology, we're at FedEx Field in Washington, 67 degrees and clear. St. Louis kicking off to Washington, who won the toss and will receive. Memo to self, do not hit the auto button, hit the play button when you want to play a game. And this will be a touchback to start the game. Set up the offense for Washington. You got Davis and Akins as your running backs, Monk and Clark, your wide receivers, Chris Cooley at tight end, Sonny Jurgensen, your quarterback, Joe Jacoby, Russ Grin, Haas, Silvinski, and Samuels, the offensive line for Washington. St. Louis will go with this lineup: Carter and Little, your defensive ends, Brockers and Walker, defensive tackles, EJ Jr. and Gene Stallings on the outside linebacker front. Minard is your middle linebacker. Worley and Fisher, two very capable cornerbacks. Wilson and Hill will be your safeties. It's a 1st and 10, and let's not do anything too hasty here. Dive up the middle with Stephen Davis.
Encroachment defense. Number 91, 5-yard penalty.
And a first down. First down, or excuse me, not a first down. It's going to stay a first down and 5 for the Redskins. Cooley on a slant. Intercepted by Roger Worley. And there you go, folks. St. Louis with the ball. Ball at the 32 of Washington will set the offense and defense for St. Louis and Washington, respectively. Anderson and Edwards, your running backs. Holt and Bruce, wide receivers. Jerry Smith, I believe that is. Let's see. Jackie Smith, the tight end who dropped a touchdown pass in Super Bowl 13 when he played with Dallas. Kurt Warner is your quarterback. Pace, Dobler, Conrad Dobler, DeMarco, Timmerman, and Dan Deerdorf, your offensive line. 1st and 10 for St. Louis. I am controlling Washington. By the way, we play with 75-man rosters, 33 on offense, 33 on defense, 4 special teams players, and 5 wild card players who could be any position. But in the wild card positions, you can only use 1 extra player per position. And with that being said, 1st and 10 for the Maroons of St. Louis at the 32. Warner not taking any gambles early on. Gives to Anderson. That is O.J. Anderson. And he picks up 3 yards. 2nd down and 7. Incomplete pass. Sonny Randall coming into the game for the Maroons. Called the Maroons because we couldn't use the Cardinals or Rams as their nickname. Pick up a 13 yards there by Anderson. Let's take a look at Anderson real quick. Otis Anderson, 1981 card. out of the University of Miami of Florida. First and 10 as the Maroons enter the red zone at the 16 of Washington. This time, Edwards stuffed by Arrington. Second and 13 at the 19 of Washington. Nice pickup there by Anderson. Mike Bass, out of the game. So your defensive backfield now, Williams, Green, Houston, and Taylor for a 3rd and 4 at the 10. Pickup of 5 to Otis Anderson again. And with that, they have a 1st and goal. Anderson stuffed at the line by LeVar Arrington. A loss of 2, 2nd and goal. And a big play. Ken Houston with an interception, and he runs it back 53 yards. And now Washington in business at their own 44. He was 9 yards deep in his end zone. He ran it back 53. They will start from their own 44. We will go to Atkins on a dive play. Akins, I should say. That's Frank Akins. He played for the Redskins in 1945, back when they had Sammy Baugh as their quarterback. He also played linebacker, and he picks up a few yards there. It'll be 2nd down and 8. We will go to Stephen Davis. And Davis goes to the outside and picks up 16. 1st down Redskins. Ball to 38. Slant. Forget who I'm slanting the ball to. I hope you saw it. And he catches it. The he being Art Monk, who at one point had the receptions record all time in NFL history. 2nd down and 2 for Washington at the 31. Trap right, Stephen Davis. And that's a fumble. And Worley again with the pickup. He has a fumble to go of his interception, and St. Louis, the Maroons, with the ball again at their own 28. They will take possession with 8:36 to go in the 1st quarter with a 1st and 10. And right there, that was Anderson on the dive play. Dave Butts, who was a regular back in the 80s for the Redskins teams that were very dominant, winning Super Bowl 17 and just missing out on another Super Bowl in 1984, losing 38-9 to the Raiders that year. Dominated by the Raiders, and what the experts were thinking was going to be a close game. 2nd and 11 for the Maroons at their own 27. This time Anderson 10 yards, but Jackie Smith was injured. So Lance Kendricks will go into the game, as will Doug Marsh for St. Louis. They have a 3rd and 1 situation. I think they're going to go to Anderson again. 3-yard loss. They sniffed out that play pretty good. So now St. Louis will punt the ball back to Washington. Barring a turnover, they will get it back. See what happens here. And this time it is Sains who catches it. And he picks up 11 yards. Punt was 46 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 for Washington at their own 31. Davis up the middle. Just goes off the right side a little bit for 14 yards. If you're just tuning in, we were going to have the Dallas-Miami game for you, but we had a technical difficulty. Actually, it was me hitting the auto button instead of hitting play. There was no way to recover playing that game. So, the Maroons and the Redskins will be the game for tonight, and we'll be one game ahead of where we should have been. Art Monk will go to him, medium slant. But Gene Stallings has ideas of his own, and he sacks Jurgensen for a 5-yard loss. Redskins will go 3 wide receivers, medium pass, and I think they're going to be looking for Charlie Taylor. Man coverage. And Taylor catches it, pickup of 12. Let's give Charlie Taylor a look. He came from Arizona State and played for the Redskins in the late 60s and early 70s. And this is going to set up a 3rd and 3. We're going to move Cooley over to the left side, and we're going to go to him. Short slant. St. Louis will be blitzing. Cooley. Cool as a cucumber. Cool as a cucumber. Makes the catch. Pickup of 9 yards, and it will be 1st and 10 for Washington at the Maroons 39. Let's go to Davis again. He's picking up a lot of yardage up the middle. Tackle.
Offsides, defense. Number 93, 5-yard penalty.
But Carter commits a 5-yard offsides infraction, 5 yards. 1st and 5 now for Washington. Might be time to throw caution to the wind and go for a long pass to Art Monk. Not there. Incomplete. We'll set up a 2nd down and 5 from the 34 with 3:46 to go in the opening quarter. No gain. Now 3rd and 5. We'll go to 3 wide receivers. With a man in motion, medium pass. We'll go to Charlie Taylor. 1st down. Back to two running backfield. We'll put Akins in the block, and Stephen Davis, who's been having a lot of success early on, will go trap left. 6 more yards on the pickup. This would be a good time to fake the run, go play action again, and look for Gary Clark. Incomplete. 3rd and 4. We're going to send, 3rd and 4. But Davis in the backfield, Cooley in the block, go short pass, and we will go looking for Art Monk. And he's got it. 6-yard pickup. 1st and 10. Ball to 16. Akins. Let's give him the ball. We haven't used him too much. Not an inch, says the computer on that run. Down to the last minute of the 1st quarter. Again, we had technical issues bringing you the Dallas-Miami game, but they will be meeting again later in the season as they play in that lower East Division. This is a game from another game from the lower East Division that we were able to go to. And let's see what we'll do here. Davis we can't really use. We're going to try Akins again. Trap right. They're showing blitz. Let's throw a screen pass. Nope, not there.
Personal foul. Defense. Number 22, automatic, 1st down.
Oh, we didn't catch what happened there, but Roger Worley, who has been the recipient of 2 turnovers, commits a personal foul. 5 seconds left in the quarter. We're going to go to Jurgensen on a run. Sweep left. And he's in there. Good call. And the Redskins get on the board on the final play of the quarter. Here's your kick. Point after. Good. Schweisom makes it 7-0 Redskins as we start the 2nd period. Metcalf. Terry Metcalf back for St. Louis, who played on the old Cardinals teams. And let's see what he can do here on this kickoff. Nope, it's going to be long and a touchback. Kurt Warner, so far 2 for 4 on the day, 18 yards. He really hasn't had that much time to throw, with Washington dominating the time of possession in the 1st quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 20. Penalty.
Encroachment defense. Number 65, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Dave Butts with the 5-yard penalty. Do it again, 1st and 5. Williams on the tackle as Warner throws to Isaac Bruce, I beg your pardon. Pickup of 9 yards. First down at the 34. 1st and 10. Just starting the second quarter here, a 7-0 game. Okay, let's see what happened. Jackie Smith caught the ball. There was a fumble. Otis Anderson wound up with it, so the Maroons keep possession. It was a pickup of 15 yards total. 1st and 10 for the Maroons. They are just outside Redskin territory. 3-yard pickup. Dexter Manley with the tackle as they go to Anderson again. Let's look at Anderson's stats. That's the 7th time he's carried the ball, 19 yards. He's also caught 2 passes for 18 yards, so not on the pace LaShawn McCoy was setting last night when Philadelphia was playing Buffalo. Right now, it's a 2nd and 7. Ball at the 48 of Washington. This time they go with Edwards.
Personal foul. Offense. Number 69, 15-yard penalty.
But the bigger story is that Ken Houston was injured, but he will remain in the game. There was a big fight, and of course Conrad Dobler, well known for instigating fights back when he played for the Cardinals and then later the Buffalo Bills in the 70s and 80s, started a fight. Nobody was ejected, but the Maroons have been assessed a 15-yard penalty. 2nd down and 22 to go. Incomplete. Kurt Warner having trouble finding momentum. And it's going to be 3rd and 22. We will play a prevent. In the dime, a 3-2 dime. That pass incomplete. They were looking for Randall. So the Redskins get the ball back, barring a turnover. Fair catch it. Signs, or I don't know how else you would pronounce that name, makes the free catch at the 12. So the Redskins have it 1st and 10. They got 88 yards to pay dirt. We'll give it to Davis. St. Louis calling a blitz. Davis runs right by the blitz, picks up 14. That gives him 52 yards on the day on 6 carries. We'll go to a 1 tight end formation with 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Give the ball to Akins. Akins picks up 4 yards. He has 3 carries and 6 yards so far today. 3 wide receivers set. We're going to go to Charlie Taylor on the quick slant. Incomplete. But a
Holding.
penalty.
Offense. Number 68, 10-yard penalty.
Costly penalty as Russ Grimm gets the grim news that he committed holding. 2nd down and 16. We'll go a screen to Davis.
False start. Offense. Number 68, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
2 penalties in a row for Russ Grimm. Not a good development for the Redskins. Looks like St. Louis playing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a dime formation. We're going to go with Davis on a draw. He gets nothing. 3rd and 21. What do you do here? We'll go long. Just hope they get good field position with Gary Clark. He's got it. It's a 1st down. They picked up 21 yards. How about that? So move the chains and keep the clock rolling. 2 running back and 2 wide receiver formation. See what they will do here, friends. Thinking this might be the time for some trickeration, but I'm not liking the possibilities of what I could call. So we will go with a stretch play to Akins. 1 yard loss, not good. Second down and 11. I was going to call an end around, but I couldn't catch it on my little play sheet here on the bottom center right of the screen. So a third down. I make that a second down. 3 wide receivers. Gary Clark. We'll go to him on a medium hitch.
Pass interference, defense. Number 37, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
St. Louis continuing to shoot themselves in the foot as they throw to Gary Clark and got tangled up with Fisher. Clark went to the referee and said, "That was a pass interference call, ref," and they agree with him. So St. Louis getting backed up here. First and 10 now at midfield exactly. Dive to Stephen Davis. 3-yard gain. Again, if you were trying to catch Miami and Dallas tonight, we apologize. We had a technical issue. The game was already played, and Miami won 34-17. They go to 1-0 in the lower East Division. Gary Clark, medium cross. And another first down. Redskins piling it up. Piling up the yardage. They have 139 yards to St. Louis's 58. And they're going to keep pounding the rock here. Trap right, Stephen Davis. 3-yard gain. They once again give it to Davis. Davis now 9 carries, 58 yards. Midway through the second period. How about Gary Clark, medium out? They look, but they can't find Clark. 3rd down and 7. Slight wind against Washington as they travel. 0 to 5 miles an hour. Just a very light breeze. We'll go 4 wide receivers. Motion, shotgun, medium pass. And we will look for Art Monk. Gain of 8 and a first down. So yet again, Redskins keep the ball moving. Davis trap left. Pickup of 11. Not much to what the Redskins are doing. They are just pounding the ball. And right now, St. Louis with no answers. Washington so far on the day, 15 carries, 81 yards as a team, 5-point yard average, and they scored the only touchdown with Sonny Jurgensen to end the first quarter. Right now, we're at 5:43 left first quarter. This drive has already gone 6 minutes and 45 seconds. And yet again, I am liking Jurgensen on a bootleg. They scored from about here to get their only touchdown. Let's see what happens here. A penalty.
Holding, offense, number 47, 10-yard penalty.
Jurgensen swung free, but the Yankees followed as Chris Cooley got called for a holding. 1st and 20 now for Washington. Cooley, slant up the middle. Will give him a chance to redeem himself. Incomplete. So if you're Washington, what do you do here? A 2nd and 20 from the 21 of St. Louis. You can get a first down and not get a touchdown. We will go to Clark. Incomplete. Okay, good situation for St. Louis to be in. Looking like they will give up 3 points here and I think Washington will concede it. Right now, they're going to go a tight end screen to Cooley. That's incomplete. So not a good 3 downs for the Redskins. They'll kick, squeeze them in, and this will be a 38-yarder. It's good. That makes the score Washington 10, St. Louis nothing. And Gilliam with a 23-yard run back, ball to 28, 1st and 10, St. Louis. As we take a look at the time of possession, it has been dominated, I would think, by Washington. Let me just see where time of possession is. I am not seeing. There it is. Washington with 17:23 time of possession, and St. Louis at 8:15. So Washington has doubled them. Here's the first down play.
Holding. Offense. Number 76. 10-yard penalty.
Orlando Pace nullifies an Otis Anderson run for 8 yards, so it's 1st and 20 now as St. Louis backed up to the 18. "13-yard pickup by Anderson, and that gets him out to the 31, but they still got a 2nd down. This one is caught by Jackie Smith. 14-yard pickup, 1st down, St. Louis at their own 45. And another catch. Isaac Bruce, 15 yards, St. Louis getting hot. 2:39 left, first half. Edwards, tackled by Hamburger. 5 yards. Washington will not call a timeout. They'll let St. Louis call the timeouts for the time being. And Kurt Warner on a roll, now 8 for 12 or 89 yards and an interception, ball at the 35. Let's see what St. Louis does here. Incomplete pass. Second, make that 3rd and 5. We'll go with a pass zone defense for Washington. 6-yard pickup, 1st down for St. Louis at the 2-minute warning. They now have it at the 29 of Washington with 1:57 to go to be exact. They trail 10-0, so a score here before half would be nice. And that is Edwards picking up 5 yards. Washington will let the clock run. So will St. Louis. 2nd and 5 at the 24. Pickup of 6 yards. And that was to Torrey Holt. And another 1st down for the Maroons. Ball at the 18. We will not call timeout. Neither will the Maroons. Once again, in a hurry-up mode, I would think. This time they went to Anderson on a handoff and only a 2-yard pickup as Talbert makes the tackle for Washington. 1:15 to go. Not calling timeout, but St. Louis still has 2, and they haven't used any of their timeouts in these 3 plays that have just proceeded. This play here, ball to 15, 2nd and 8. Oh, what happened there? It was a high snap that went over the head of Warner. Warner had to bail on it, jump on it, and he got to it before some defenders for Washington did. A loss of 18 yards. Disaster for the Maroons. It's now 3rd and 26. And the Redskins are going to play a 3-1 deep zone prevent. Bruce gets them in field goal range. They will try a field goal from 42 yards out. 4th and 17, so I don't see any trickeration here. They get the field goal. Zerline puts it through, and it's 10-3. Kickoff is a touchback. 1st and 10, Washington. They have all 3 timeouts left with 45 seconds to go. I think we're going to speculate a little bit. go medium pass to Taylor. They're showing blitz. That's an incomplete pass. Now, St. Louis only has one timeout left. We'll just call 2 runs and call it a half. Pickup of 6 by Davis. Let the clock run. And let that be the half. So at halftime, your score, Washington 10, St. Louis 3. Hello there again, friends. Welcome back to the second half of this game between Washington and St. Louis. If you are just joining us on these network stations, we were going to have Miami and Dallas tonight, but because of a technical snafu, we have already found out that Miami won that game 34-17, and so Miami goes to 1-0 and Dallas goes to 0-1. We'll be seeing Miami and Dallas play again later in the season in the lower East Division. So if you missed that game, we'll catch them again playing each other later in the season in Big D. Right now, it's Washington up 10-3. Close game as the Maroons came back and got a field goal after Washington went up 10-0. Right now, Metcalf back, awaiting the kick. And it's Terry Metcalf. Nice game.
Holding, receiving team.
But it gets nullified. EJ Jr. caught holding. And that'll be half the distance to the goal. 1st and 10. Maroons, they will start in bad shape at their own 7. Gain of 2 for Otis Anderson. That is Mann who made the tackle, and he was on those 1980s teams. He's out of Nevada, plays defensive end. He was rated a 9. 2nd down and 8 at the St. Louis own 9-yard line. 2-yard pickup for Anderson. So right now, Washington's got to be thinking that Warner will throw the ball. 3rd and 6 at their own 11. He said. No, it was a handoff, and it went to Anderson again, who picked up 6 yards. Timmerman was injured, so let's reset the offensive line for St. Louis. Pace, Dobler, DeMarco, Young, and Deerdorf. 1st and 10, St. Louis at their own 17. Pickup of 10 yards. Made the 1st down, say the officials. Washington tempted to use their only challenge in the game, but they will defer. They might need it later. Should point out that under HTFL rules, each team gets only 1 challenge, but all scores and all turnovers will be looked at in the booth as needed. 1st and 10, St. Louis. Ball at their own 27. Let's see if they can rally back in this game. 8-yard pickup. That's Anderson again. Anderson now with 12 carries, 39 yards. And let's see. It was Silvinski who made the tackle. Silvinski. Let's look at him real fast. And if that name sounds familiar, it is because he's playing both ways today. He came out of Washington, played on the 42 Redskins, on some of those Sammy Baugh teams that were always championship contenders. He is a guard and a linebacker and rated 8 at both. Some of these teams that have been around a while, you're going to see players going both ways. That's how the NFL was played back in that era. And you will see Ironman players like Chuck Bednarik, and Don Hudson was another player who played wide receiver for Green Bay and played defensive back. Some very notable players played both offense and defense because that's the way they did it before platoon football was introduced after World War II. Right now it's 2nd and 2 for the Cardinals. I'm sorry, not the Cardinals. See, I made the error I was thinking I was going to make. The Cardinals are in Arizona for purposes of this season. And they have it at their own 35. 1-yard pickup for, let's see, it was a draw to Otis Anderson. So now 3rd and 1. I think they're going to give it to Anderson again. What about you? They do. and he's just short. They go wide with Anderson, and it was not there. First down was not there. So I'm going to watch for a fake punt here. Kick will land inside the 15. This time I'm going to try to return it. And it's a nice return, 17 yards. Signs moves the ball out to the 28. And the score still 10-3, 10:24 left, third quarter. We will go to Davis, pitch right. And a fumble, and St. Louis has it.
Under review. The ruling on the field stands.
And just like that, St. Louis picks up a fumble by Davis, and they're in business. Ball at the 36, first and 10. They go to Edwards on a sweep, no gain. Charles Mann on the tackle, second and 10. Oh, a strange play there as Williams intercepted for Washington. He picked up 21 yards, but then he fumbled, and Orlando Pace recovers for St. Louis. So a double turnover play. Boy, you might see that maybe once a week in a football league, maybe a few times a year. And a bizarre play goes the Maroons' favor. They get a fresh set of downs on the double turnover, first and 10 at the 47 of the Redskins. And Otis Anderson picks up 13, gets into 15 carries and 54 yards on the day. 9:13 left, third quarter. First and 10 at the 34. Edwards picks up 4 yards. Anderson getting a little tired. I think you'll see St. Louis not call his number anytime soon. They're in a shotgun formation with two running backs. See what they do here. Second and 6. It's to Edwards. He picks up 3 yards. And Smith out of the game. Looks like he has injured his wrist. And Doug Marsh will come in and substitute for him the rest of the way. Third down and 3 for St. Louis. Play a nickel passing zone. And it's a first down. Throws to Edwards, chucked it to Edwards, a little dump pass, and it was good for 3 yards, a first down. St. Louis now at the 24 of Washington, first and 10. Incomplete pass as Warner was looking for Torrey Holt. Torrey Holt has not been a factor in this game, only one catch so far for 6 yards. Second and 10, 24-yard line. And Edwards was stuffed. LeVar Arrington makes another big play. Third and 11, ball at the 26. Incomplete pass. So the drive stalls there for the Maroons. They'll kick a field goal here to try to cut it to 4 points. No good. Zerline tried a field goal from 42 yards out, and it went wide right. So the score remains 10-3 with 6:16 to go. We'll go Davis with a sweep to the right. And he is met by Gene Stallings. That's Larry Stallings. I was thinking of St. Louis's old coach, Gene Stallings, who also coached at the University of Alabama, and I apologize for the errors. He's from Georgia Tech. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals in 1970, so he could have played with them earlier and later too, and he wears number 67. And right now we're looking at a second and 12 for Washington. And I think it's time to go to Cooley, short cross. They're showing blitz, so we're going to change the play and go to Aitkins on a screen. Incomplete. So Washington has not been moving the ball too well either as of late. We're going to go a medium pass with a man in motion. And we will go to Charlie Taylor. Caught, but it's going to be short. 8-yard pickup. 4th down and 4. They will punt the ball. Eddie LeBaron, who is also a quarterback, will be dropping back to punt. He was kind of Doug Flutie before Doug Flutie. He was known for being diminutive and short in size, but he did have quite a career in the NFL and also went on and commentated some football games in the 60s for CBS. And he will punt the ball away for Washington. Hakeem lets the ball roll. It goes dead at the 16, a 46-yard punt. St. Louis with the ball, 1st and 10. And this time Anderson nowhere to go as Sylvinski makes the tackle for no gain. And right now we're looking at a 2nd and 10. We inch closer to the end of this third quarter. A tight defensive struggle so far, 10-3 in favor of the Redskins. A busted play, and Kurt Warner gets hit hard by Dave Butts, and that's disaster for the Maroons yet again. They'll have a 3rd and 11 at their own 15. We'll go nickel zone pass. And Warner with a clutch play here, folks, as he finds Doug Marsh for 12. Doug Marsh, let's take a look at him real fast. He's from the University of Michigan. He played on the Cardinals back in the 80s before they moved to Arizona. 6'3", 236, which was pretty big for a tight end back then. 1st and 10, St. Louis, the Maroons at their own 27. 18 yards as Warner hooks up with Torrey Holt. And we were saying earlier they weren't getting the ball to Torrey Holt. Holt and Isaac Bruce were on the St. Louis Rams teams that were called the greatest show on turf in the late 90s and early 2000s, the first decade of the 21st century. Went to 2 Super Bowls, one Super Bowl 34 against Tennessee, but they were heavily favored to beat New England in Super Bowl 36, but the Patriots started their own dynasty by defeating the Rams 20-17 in that game, famous for the kick Adam Vinatieri made and the drive that the Patriots made to win that game, and everybody thought they would settle for playing what would have been the first overtime in Super Bowl history. 2:12 left to go, 1st and 10 for the Maroons at their own 46. And Warner finds Isaac Bruce, speak of the devil, on a long out, and that's good for 22 yards. Williams knocking him out of play. So again, St. Louis on the move as they look to tie this game with a touchdown. Ball to 33 of the Redskins, 1st and 10. And nothing quells a rally like a quarterback sack, and Dave Butts reintroduces himself to Kurt Warner, and that's a 12-yard loss. 2nd and 22 at the Washington 45. 13-yard gain as Warner hooks up with Bruce again. So that sets up a key 3rd and 9 play. See if St. Louis can keep the drive going. We'll go again. We're going to go this time 3-3 nickel zone pass. And again, Warner finds a way to move the sticks as he finds Torrey Holt for a 12-yard pickup. And that makes it 1st and 10. St. Louis has found the red zone at the Washington 20. We have now started the 4th quarter. Score still 10-3. That was the first play. The first down play was the first play of the 4th quarter. I missed the end of the quarter. And again, if you are just tuning in, we apologize for not bringing you the Dallas-Miami game as I accidentally hit the auto button on Action PC 2020 Football. My error. error by yours truly, and I will tell you that in that game, Miami won 34-17 over Dallas, and I guess you could put that under the headline of stuff happening. 2nd and 6 for St. Louis at the 16 of Washington as they look to tie this game. 67-degree day here at FedEx Field and a very slight wind that St. Louis will be driving into. This time it is Marsh, the recipient of a pass for 11 yards. And now St. Louis really in business at the 5 of the Redskins. 1st and goal. And that's a touchdown. A touchdown as Warner dumps it off to Edwards, and we are 1 point away from a tie game. Here's the extra point try by Zuerlein. He gets it, and we are dead even at 10-10. And as I have been doing the last couple of nights, I will remind you, if we go to overtime, it is the old school overtime rules, up to 15 minutes. First team scores. That's it. And when we play playoff games, there will be no limit as to how long they can go. But it'll be the old sudden death rules. First score wins the game, whether it be by safety, field goal, or touchdown. Zuerlein kicking off. James, Sainz, and Williams back for the Redskins. And they will down it 1st and 10 at the 20, a touchback. Davis has done good today, 13 carries for 81 yards. Defensive struggle, 10-10 score. Offense, off tackle right side. That's close to first down yardage, only short by a foot. And the Washington coaching staff wondering if they should challenge here. And with the game now moving into the 4th quarter, they will.
Upon further review, the runner reached the first down marker. First down. No timeout will be charged.
Okay, so it was a first down, and that was Washington's challenge for today, and they will not lose a timeout on the play. Aitkins, trap right. They're showing blitz, so we're going to go to Davis on a screen. The screen only picks up a yard. DJ Jr. on the tackle for the Cardinals. I mean for the Maroons. There, I did it again. Art Monk, slant pass. And Monk gets loose, and he goes all the way. And just like that, Washington retakes the lead. Here's the extra point try. It's good. Sweesham splits the uprights. I should point out that in HTFL action, all extra points come from the 2-yard line, whether they are kicks or attempts to go for 2. And with that, Washington now retakes the lead 17-10. Metcalf back as the deep man for this kickoff. And it's a touchback. Kickoff from the 35 in the HTFL, by the way. So Washington with the lead again. Kurt Warner will have to go back to work. He, so far in the day, 2 interceptions and a touchdown. 20 for 28, 216 yards. Total offense about even, 251 for St. Louis, 261 at this point for the Redskins. 1st and 10.
Hut, hut.
They go to Anderson, and he picks up 4. Butts on the tackle. 2nd down and 6. Taylor came up and made the tackle, and they were looking for Anderson on there. No gain. Let's take a look at Taylor. That is Sean Taylor out of the University of Miami of Florida, who played on the Washington teams back in the 2000s. And of course, you may remember his life tragically cut short by a shooting, which took his life, unfortunately. But in the HTFL, you live forever, and that's a good thing. 3rd and 6 for the Maroons, and looking like they're going to go to a 2-4 nickel and play the pass. Interesting strategy. And a screen to Anderson was snuffed out by Slavinsky. And just like that, St. Louis must punt with 10 minutes to go. So Washington with a chance to run some clock off. They punt, and it's Signs who catches it and runs 8 yards. So it's going to be at the 41 for Washington. And I really think they're going to try to chew up some clock here. They haven't really given it to Frank Akins too much. 4 carries for 5 yards. So let's give him the ball off tackle. And that's a nice pickup. The Maroons were not keying on him. And that's a first down. Ball to 46 of St. Louis. If you're just tuning in, St. Louis is the combination of Cardinal teams from 1960 onward and the time that the Rams played in St. Louis from about the mid-90s up until the point where they moved back to Los Angeles. So, back to the game. 1st and 10 for Washington at the 46, and this time we will give it to Stephen Davis. He picks up 9, and more importantly, it gives him 100 yards on the day. Nice accomplishment for Stephen Davis. The crowd gives him a big hand as the PA announcer announces that. And we're going to put Cooley on the other side and sweep left. And we're going to give it to Akins again. Akins with a nice pickup, 15 yards. Sonny Jurgensen doing well. Only has thrown the ball 20 times, and Washington had a lot of quarterback options. They could have gone with Joe Theismann. They could have gone with Sammy Baugh. But they went with Jurgensen here, and it's proving to be a good decision by the Washington coaching staff led by Joe Gibbs. Davis, trapped left. No gain, so it'll be 2nd and 10 at the 22. Time now becoming a factor. 6:45 to go. Akins, sweep left. And Akins with another nice play. 16 yards. So with 5:55 to go, it's 1st and goal for Washington at the Maroons 6. Trap left, Stephen Davis. Okay, and he picks up 3 yards, so they got 3 yards to go. Cut that in half. Akins, dive. He's in there. Big score for Washington with 4:34 to go. Although we saw what happened last night when the Eagles had a 14-point lead. John Swisham will try the point after. He finds it, and it's 24-10. Thinking Washington will kick at an angle. I'm sure they saw the Philly-Buffalo game the other night. Metcalf back for the Maroons. Terry Metcalf picks up 18 yards. Ball to 21. John Gilliam coming into the game as a wide receiver. We've seen him returning kicks for the Maroons most of the way. And he can catch the ball at 20.9 a catch. So he's another deep threat for this St. Louis Cardinal team. So we'll see what happens. 1st and 10 for the Maroons at their own 21. Time not an ally for them right now. Mann stuffs. Let's see, it was Otis Anderson and Charles Mann stuffs it at the line, and you'd think that Washington would be looking for the pass, but Charlie Mann with a heads-up play. 2nd down and 11 now at the 20-yard line of St. Louis. 4:20 to go. Screen pass, and this went to Anderson. He picks up 8 yards. 3rd and 3 at the 28. Incomplete pass. St. Louis was thinking about going for it with so little time to go, but they will instead punt. We'll call a punt return safe here. Signs. Return of 3 yards. Ball to 27. Again, I think the priority for Washington will be running the clock out. 3:25 to go. 24-10 lead. We'll go to Akins, who has had some success here in the fourth quarter. Trap right. No success on that play as Little comes up to tackle him. 1 yard. Pick up second down and 9, but they will use up all of that 40-second clock that they can. And we'll go to Davis. Trap right. Davis with a little more success. Roger Worley comes up to tackle him. A gain of 5. Third down and 4. 2:34 left in the game. Washington can run it down to the 2-minute warning if St. Louis does not call a timeout, and it's not looking like they will. And we go to the 2-minute warning. Akins, dive play. Pickup of 2, that'll be short of the first down. And St. Louis finally burning their timeouts. That was the first of their 3. And let's see. I'm thinking Eddie LeBaron will punt the ball. No way you're going to go for it. 4th and 2 in your own end and give St. Louis cheap field position. So they will punt. And that is Bostic snapping the ball. Hakeem caught it at the 18. Pick up a return of 7 yards. St. Louis starts at their own 25. 1:46 to go. 1st and 10. We'll play a prevent. And that was a screen to Anderson, but it lost 3 yards. Washington can smell victory with 1:36 to go. Warner, incomplete. Darrell Green with the defensive coverage for the Redskins. 1:29 left, 3rd and 13. Incomplete pass again. So St. Louis running out of tomorrows. St. Louis will play a quarter defense, 3-1-7 pass. They dump it to Anderson, but again, he goes nowhere or close to it as Hamburger made the tackle. So right now, the Redskins can just run the clock out here, although I do think they're going to run the ball just in case St. Louis uses their timeout. Stephen Davis on a dive play. Picks up 4 yards. Clock will run, 1:07 to go. Sonny Jurgensen doesn't want to kneel just yet because St. Louis could still use those timeouts. Off tackle right, Stephen Davis. They've been instructed to play it safe, make sure you don't fumble the ball. Roger Worley with his 10th tackle for the Maroons. But again, they're not going to use a timeout, which is surprising. And I think Jurgensen's going to take a knee. He does. And that'll be it. Your final score, Washington 24-10 over St. Louis. We apologize for not bringing you that Miami-Dallas game. 24-10, your final score. Washington pouring it on in the fourth quarter. The backbreaker wound up being a 69-yard pass, Jurgensen to Monk, and then Aikens ran it in from 3 yards, and that wound up being the margin of victory. So we have now played 4 games in the HTFL, unintentionally playing the 3rd game, and I should point out that next up, tomorrow, we will head to the lower South Division. Atlanta will go travel to Charlotte to play the Carolina Panthers, and then after that, Tampa Bay goes up to Jacksonville and plays the Jaguars. Those are going to be your next couple of games on tap. So looking at the standings, not too much to see right now, as we've only played 4 games. We've only had one division completed so far. Miami and Washington both winning. St. Louis and Dallas both losing. We have plenty of games left in this season, and in this week 1, we got 12 games left to go still, so a lot of action out there. And we will talk to you again real soon. Sorry I'm in the dark here, folks. Didn't plan that too far ahead, did I? Hope you're well. Hope you're staying safe as the news of this virus continues into its 3rd month now, and we hope that you all stay safe and you all stay well, and you all, whether or not you want to heed the public warnings or not, that's up to you. Live your life the way you want to live it. And with that, I will bid you all adieu. Bye bye for now, everybody.